On this occasion, I would like to share my experiences in applying genre-based approach for extensive reading, especially in using extensive reading as models for writing and speaking. My name is Risa and I am a lecturer at English Department, Bina Nusantara University. Let me start by talking about some notions of genre. According to John Swales, a genre comprises of a class of communicative events, the members of which share some set of communicative purposes. Professor Miller also said that genres are not as forms that are replicated, but as social recognitions that guide future rhetorical action. I would like to talk more about the courses that I have been teaching in the last 4 years. In all these courses, I have applied genre-based reading activities. In all of those classes, I always face similar problems in which my students ask me how to collect adequate information for the topic, how to be confident to read extensively, how to avoid feeling lost when dealing with a lot of text, and also how to use the information for the project. So here are the procedures that I used. First, I would like to ask my students to collect as many texts as possible. I let them to decide on which text to use. For example, which research article abstracts to use for their projects. And then I let them to be acquainted with the text, and I focus on assisting students to recognize the communicative purposes in the text. And finally, I assist my students to apply the model for producing their own information, whether in written or spoken form. Let me give you an example of a text of a particular genre. In this text, it is a research article abstract, and you can see that a research article abstract usually is not an easy text to read because it gives a lot of information and complex structure, and also there are many lexical terms involved. Initially, students would feel uneasy to comprehend what is being delivered in the text. They will try to understand the meaning from word to word or maybe from sentence to sentence. But by applying genre-based approach in extensive reading, I ask them, I encourage them to see whether there are patterns in the text. Seeing from the perspective of genre, an abstract is no longer seen as a collection of sentences, but as an arrangement of blocks. These blocks are also known as rhetorical moves. Each move has a specific role. A typical article abstract would have introduction and then statement of purpose, methods, findings, and finally conclusion. These IPMPRC rhetorical moves can be applied to any abstracts. By applying genre-based approach for extensive readings, all three questions that were asked by my students could be answered. The students can now use text as models and reference, and they are now not feeling lost anymore because they could observe and apply the models and feel more engaged to the text that they have. And finally, they could use the model to construct their own research project designs. Students could use this information in abstract for their own abstract, for writing their own abstract. Here is an example of an abstract written by a student of computer science. And when I inquire further why he composed the abstract as such, my student said that the reason I use the structure of abstract in this particular way is because As a matter of fact, abstract is used for people to be interested in reading his project. So this data shows that students can navigate their ways through what they have read, and they could make decisions of their own from the information they gather. Students also gain more confidence in speaking. For this occasion, I could not share the video file that I have, but this particular student, he did not go abroad, he did not join any particular English course, but he was very confident in delivering his speech in talking about his project. And finally, these students use the model from what they read for their own project design. They make a business video promoting their project, promoting their product, and they also write the experiences in their life. And here are a couple of entries in the blogs that they have written. As we can see, the way they presented the talk and the way they write is quite different. In the talk and the presentation, they talk using more professional and formal manner, in which when they write about the experience in the blog, they use more narrative and more dialogical kind of telling their experience. Further results are also identified from applying this genre-based approach for ER. I noticed that my students use words, phrases, lexical bundles, collocations, and multi-word expressions as they found in the text that they collected, both in speaking and writing. And these lexical elements, in my opinion, are central for writing and also speaking, especially in classes where they use English in the context of foreign language. As a conclusion, I think in extensive reading, students are the center of the process. We lecturers, our role is to assist students in the process through dialogues and by providing samples for application and tools for further learning developments. Genre-based approach helps students in recognizing language and text and in navigating their way to use the language. And this is in line with what have been previously researched or studied. And finally, genre-based approach in ER provides models in context for students' language productions. Thank you very much for your attention. Have a good day.